How's it going, YouTube? My name is LBNinja7, your resident Mistweaver Monk. And guys, in today's video, we're going to be taking a deep look at Chiji. My hope for you guys is no matter what your knowledge level is with Mistweaver, you're going to walk away from this video having mastered Chiji. Why does this one talent or this one button get its own video? Well, to put it simply, Chiji has easily the largest learning curve of any button that us Mistweavers have to press. It's one of the things that a lot of new players just kind of ignore, just press because they know they have to press it. It's a 1 minute cooldown in Mythic Plus, might as well press it every minute, but they don't fully understand the depth that you can go into or just the minor adjustments that you can even make in your Chiji window to make it more optimal. So today we're going to talk about all the different rotations, what they accomplish, what their strengths are, why you would even do them while you have Chiji out. And we're going to talk about all the different ways that we can use Chiji and walk away from this video having mastered the biggest skill floor to skill ceiling ability that Mistweavers have, so we can all master Mistweaver. So let's go ahead and read the tooltip. It says, you summon an effigy of Chiji for 12 seconds that'll kick up gusts of mist, which are your mastery procs, whenever you use one of your 3 kicks. So Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, or Spinning Crane Kick. And those will heal up to 2 allies. So every time that you kick something, you're going to kick up 2 mastery procs. So you're going to get a lot of healing on top of your kicks that you normally would already be getting healing from with things like Ancient Teachings. But on top of that, each of those kicks will give you a stack. So I'm going to call it a stack of Chiji. And each stack that you have will reduce the mana cost and the cast time of your next Enveloping Mist by 1/3. So if you get to 3 stacks of Chiji, if you hit 3 kicks, then you're gonna have a fully mana free and cast time reduced Enveloping Mist. And then there is also this little line of text that I will get into different ways of how this actually matters that says that Chiji's presence, so as long as you have Chiji out beside you, it'll make you immune to movement impairing effects. So right off the bat, you're kind of told how this spell is supposed to work. You're supposed to do a couple of kicks and then weave in an Enveloping Mist between those few kicks. So you want to get 3 stacks and then cast an Enveloping Mist. However, it is much more intricate than that, because it's totally okay to cast an Enveloping Mist if you only have 2 stacks, because it's just very efficient. So if you mess up your rotation, get 2 stacks, don't think that you have to wait until your Blackout kicks off cooldown to press another one and then waste that efficiency. No, it's fine to just fire off that 2 stack Enveloping Mist. It's very efficient. Just know that it's not instant cast. So you can't do it while on the move if you only have 2 stacks, but if you have 3 stacks, you can. You can be on the move, you can be wiggling around and cast an Enveloping Mist. So let's go and talk about some of the synergies. And I want to start off actually with Essence Font. So Essence Font is how we apply, or Essence Font or Feline Stomp are how we apply Ancient Teachings to ourselves. So we're always in Mythic Plus pressing Feline Stomp to shoot an Essence Font bolt through any allies, shoot some damage through any enemies, and then we stand on our Feline. So we should be accustomed to Feline. It's as simple as literally just shooting it through where you're going to stand. However, there is a little bit more importance here in how you place your Feline so that you can use the Essence Font portion of your Feline, because if you read that last little line of text, it says Gust of Mists, or your Mastery procs, that's what your Mastery is called, will heal the affected target. So if anyone has an Essence Font hot on them, your Gust of Mist will heal them twice. So that's very important because it does work with the Chiji Gusts of Mist. So if we just shoot our Feline through the enemy mobs and the Essence Font only applies to us and maybe the tank, maybe we hit the tank or any melee that are standing in here, that's great. That's ideal because we want our Chiji, we want to have Essence Font on as many people as we can without actually having to press the inefficient spell called Essence Font. So if we can help it, like if the tank has already collected all the enemies here, if we can help it and aim our Essence Font at maybe like our mage or our shaman out and ranged, that's even better, because then we can try to have Essence Font on as many people as possible. But you want to ideally apply Essence Font to as many people as you can without having to press the Essence Font. So it's just good to learn to, right before you get your Chiji window going, you shoot your Feline Stomp through as many allies as you can, just so that you buff your Chiji window. And let's go ahead and talk about the talents that are underneath Chiji. So these are two talents that just buff Chiji. So first up is Celestial Harmony. This is what applies the Chi Cocoon. So right once you summon Chiji, you're going to put a massive shield on 5 allies nearby you. That's very important for Mythic Plus because it can extend the effective health bar of your whole group. And this is the only button that we have that kind of works as mitigation. So yes, we don't mitigate the amount of damage that's coming into our party, but if we know that there's a big slam that has a possibility of one-shotting us or any of our allies, we can press Chiji, if even just for the Chi Cocoon, to extend our health bars and hope that it'll help us survive that big slam of damage. But this is just a massive shield to where it just does a big boost when we first press Chiji. Couple that with our first global cooldown in Chiji that's going to be doing so much healing, and you can add a ton of burst healing or survivability as soon as you press Chiji, making its immediate effectiveness that much more impactful. But this also will cause Chiji to apply enveloping breath to allies, to 5 allies nearby your enveloping mist targets whenever Chiji is out. So if I enveloping mist, say, myself, then it'll splash an enveloping breath off of me, like in a radius, and apply a buff to my allies. It'll increase the amount of healing that they receive from me while also applying a hot to everyone that it hits. So it's very important to try not to enveloping mist the same target twice, because you want to optimize that. You want to try to spread the enveloping mist as much as you can. Ideally, you hit a melee person and then a ranged person, or vice versa, a ranged then a melee, so that you can try to splash the enveloping breath on both parties. However, in practice, it's not always that easy. It's not always that simple because everyone's taking different damage. If you need to hit 2 melees in a row, it's not the end of the world. The enveloping breath isn't that important, but just ideally the most optimized way to do it is to try to hit one of each so that everyone has enveloping breath and they're all taking more healing during your entire Chiji window. And then next up, we have this talent node here. So you could take Jade Bond, which is ideal for raid scenarios. How this works is it says abilities that activate Gust of Mist, so our mastery, will reduce the cooldown of Chiji by 1/3 of a second, or 0.3 seconds. And Chiji's Gusts of Mist, so the mastery procs that you're kicking up with Chiji, are going to be 40% more effective. So you get a lot of power just by how many Gusts of Mist you can kick up in a raid environment, especially if you go with an Essence Font build. And that's why you see an Essence Font, Chiji, Ancient Teachings, Awakened Feline build be so popular in Mythic Plus, like in heroic environments, because you're just kicking up so many mastery procs during your longer Chiji window. Because if you take Jade Bond, Chiji will be a 3-minute cooldown, but last for 25 seconds. However, what we take in Mythic Plus is Gift of the Celestials. So Gift of the Celestials will reduce the cooldown of Chiji from a 3-minute cooldown down to a 1-minute cooldown. So now that's very good for Mythic Plus. We can plan around that 1-minute cooldown, and it's always good to have short cooldowns in Mythic Plus so you can cycle them very frequently. But it cuts the duration of us having Chiji out down to 12 seconds. So we have a shorter burst Chiji window, but we can have that up ideally on like every pack, every other pack. We can alternate that with our 40-second Shayloon's Gift. So all in all, we take this in Mythic Plus and we take this in Raid. So after that, we're going to talk about what Enveloping Mist does. Yes, it is a very large hot that you can put on each person. You're going to be getting a couple of these off for hopefully free during your Chiji window, but it also increases the amount of healing received from your other spells by 40%. So using this fact, you can extend the value of your Chiji outside of the duration of Chiji. If Chiji's out for 12 seconds, you can get more value. You can make your Chiji give you healing value by extending the hots that you're applying through Chiji beyond your Chiji window with things like Rising Mist. It extends, every Rising Sun Kick that you get off will extend your hots. And then lastly, we're going to talk about teachings in the monastery and then Phaline. So I've already talked about how your Phaline placement can help your Chiji window, but your blackout kicks while you're on your Phaline will hit 3 targets. That's very important because if you have 3 targets to hit, your blackout kick alone can get you to 3 stacks of Chiji, making your next enveloping mist free. And then on top of that, Teachings of the Monastery just got buffed. Now, every time you Tiger Palm, you're going to gain a stack of Teachings of the Monastery, and then it'll stack up to 4 times. And then for every stack, the next time that you press Blackout Kick, it'll hit an additional time. And that works on all 3 of the enemies that you're cleaving onto. So this becomes very important during your Chiji windows because you want to have as many stacks as you can when you blackout kick so that you just hit so many blackout kicks and kick up a ton of mastery procs. And then if those mastery procs hit someone with your essence font hot on them, they'll be doubled. And this becomes even more simplified when you count the fact that your Tiger Palms are hitting twice when you're on your Phaline. So if I Tiger Palm while on my Phaline, it'll hit twice, giving me 2 stacks of Teachings of the Monastery. And then if I hit Tiger Palm again, I'll go up to 4 stacks of Teachings of the Monastery. And then if I summon Chiji and then I press Blackout Kick, it'll hit 3 targets, 5 times each, kicking up 30 mastery procs, which can then be doubled to 60 if they all hit targets with Essence Font. So that leads us to the most important rule to Chiji. This is the #1 takeaway. I mean, write this on a sticky note and put it on your monitor. This is the most important thing that you can walk away from this video having learned, and that is to stack up your Teachings of the Monastery before you summon Chiji. What this accomplishes is this makes that first global cooldown right after summoning Chiji alongside you. Being Blackout Kick will kick up so many mastery procs and create this massive burst as soon as you summon Chiji, and it's very important to do that. So what does that look like? Well, I'll go ahead and show you. So if I have my Phaline, I Tiger Palm twice, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I now have 4 stacks of Teachings of the Monastery, and then if I summon Chiji and Blackout Kick, you see it hit 15 times, and it'll just kick up so many mastery procs to allies around me. So if I get to 4 stacks again, and say I just summoned Chiji, boom, look at all those mastery procs, and they don't even have Essence Font on them. That's why it's even more important to shoot your Essence Font through your ranged allies if you can, and then get that massive burst as soon as you summon Chiji. That means that no matter what situation you're in, whether you're running Chiji and Phaline in Raid, in Mythic Plus, you're on single target in Mythic Plus, or you're fighting 20 mobs, the first few global cooldowns before your Chiji and after your Chiji are set in stone. You want a Phaline to reapply Ancient Teachings so that you have Ancient Teachings buff throughout your Chiji. You want to Tiger Palm twice, and then you can summon your Chiji. So this is what it's going to look like every single time before you Chiji. Phaline, Tiger Palm, summon Chiji, and then boom, you're blasting. You can get into the rotation. Now, what are the different rotations to Chiji? So right off the bat, we notice that the 3 spells that work are Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, and Spinning Crane Kick. So let's go and start off with Spinning Crane Kick. Why would we ever press Spinning Crane Kick during Chiji? Does it kick up any more masteries than the rest of them? No, it doesn't. So every time that we channel a Spinning Crane Kick, we're only kicking up 2 masteries. However, Spinning Crane Kick does do a lot of healing in AoE packs. So ideally, you only press Spinning Crane Kick during Chiji if one, you have to move out of melee. Say there's a swirly here and you need to try to tag a mob, because if I Spinning Crane Kick and then barely clip an enemy mob at the tail end of Spinning Crane Kick, that Spinning Crane Kick technically did hit, and I will gain 1 stack of Chiji. So that's a good thing to know, is if you have to be forced out of melee for any reason, like a frontal or anything like that, press Spinning Crane Kick if you're in the middle of your Chiji, just in case you might hit an enemy, and then you'll still gain a stack of Chiji. Or if you're on an insane amount of enemies, that to where Spinning Crane Kick will just out heal any number of mastery procs that you could kick up doing the blackout kick rotation. Or if you're in a big AoE scenario, so like 5+ mobs, and you're just focused on the damage you're doing, you don't really care how much healing your Chiji does. So everyone's like at like 80%. No one's taking any threatening damage anytime soon. There's no like big chunks, no big hot or dots coming out. You know that no one's gonna die. Then it's fine to just spinning crane kick while your Chiji's out. Every time that you spinning crane kick, you'll get a stack. So spinning crane kick, spinning crane kick, spinning crane kick. You know you'll get a stack, and then it's nice to just reapply. At least if no one's taking damage, at least apply that enveloping mist to your tank, so that your tank is at least taking a little bit more healing from you. But that's spinning crane kick. Those are basically the only uses, and it's hard to know how many mobs is our limit for when you should press spinning crane kick for just the raw healing of Awakened Feline versus the healing that you could be getting out of your Chiji. So ideally, in almost every scenario, if I want to focus, prioritize the amount of healing that I'm doing, I am strictly pressing Chiji for its healing capabilities, then I will just do the blackout kick rotation because it just does so much healing with all the mastery procs, and the efficiency in how fast you can stack up Chiji and get those free enveloping mists cycled. I just, in any target number scenario, I think it's good practice to just go ahead and focus on your blackout kick rotation, at least at the start. If you are just starting Mistweaver, that's just good practice to get into. And then from there, you can start adjusting. Maybe I don't need to be doing the blackout kick rotation now. I can just spinning crane kick for damage while Chiji's still out and just adjust from there. But at the start, I would just advise, if you have Chiji out, only press spinning crane kick if you have to get out of range. All right, next up, we have a very important rotation. Now, this is the easiest way that you can get to 3 stacks and apply an enveloping mist to everyone. What this rotation will accomplish is this is how you extend Chiji's ramp for longer than the 12 seconds that Chiji is out. So we're gonna use our Rising Mist procs to extend the enveloping mist that we're applying through Chiji, and we're going to try to apply as many enveloping mists as we can while Chiji is out. So what that looks like is it's very simple. First up, the number one rule, like I always say, you have to stack up your Tiger Palms before you Chiji. So we're going to do that. But our first global cooldown as soon as we summon Chiji is going to be Blackout Kick. That'll put us at our max stacks. We're going to Enveloping Mist, and then from there, since Blackout Kick is on such a low cooldown, we can basically do Blackout Kick and then press another button. Blackout Kick and press another button. Blackout Kick, press another button. What will that other button be? It'll be Enveloping Mist. So what that will look like is we're going to Feline Stomp Tiger Palm twice so that we get our full 4 stacks of Tiger Palm, and then I'm going to start my Chiji rotation with that first initial burst of Blackout Kick, getting all those mastery procs, kicking up 30 mastery procs, and then I'm just going to Enveloping Mist, Blackout Kick, Enveloping Mist, Blackout Kick. And I want you to count how many Enveloping Mists I can get out while Chiji is out with us. So here we go. We're going to Feline Stomp, Tiger Palm, Chiji, Blackout Kick, Enveloping Mist, 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 and then the next one doesn't count for any Chiji stacks. So you guys counted, hopefully I did my math right, but you get 5 Enveloping Mists out if you accomplish that rotation. Why is that important? Well, we're in Mythic Plus. If you put 5 Enveloping Mists out, you're coating your whole party in Enveloping Mist, and then at the end of your Chiji, right after you apply that 5th Enveloping Mist, you want to Rising Sun Kick to extend as many of those as possible with Rising Mist as you can. And that way you extend the duration, the effectiveness, the amount of healing that you can get out of your Chiji beyond just the 12 seconds that it's out. This rotation is very, very good if you need your cooldown in that moment, in that Mythic Plus moment, to last longer than just 12 seconds. And then what do you do after you Rising Sun Kick? Well, all of those Enveloping Mists that you're casting will leave behind a Renewing Mist on an ally. And then if you Rising Sun Kick, it'll extend all of those Renewing Mists. So everyone will have hopefully, and at least 4 or 3 people will still have an enveloping mist on them. Everyone will have a renewing mist on them, and then you just want to pick a target and soothing mist and spam vivify, and that will just be able to maximize or capitalize on that Chiji ramp. And then once Chiji falls off, Chiji disappears, goes away, you still have all those hots from your Chiji, and you can gain the most amount of value after your Chiji has ended. However, what if we don't necessarily need our Chiji to last too long? We just want to get as much burst healing while Chiji is out as possible. If that's the case, then we're going to really try to optimize the amount of mastery procs that we can kick up. So we're still going to be applying the free enveloping mist in between, but while we're not applying enveloping mist, we're going to be getting the full 4 stacks of blackout kick and then blackout kicking. And what that'll accomplish is if we're hitting 3 targets, we're going to hit them all 3 one time plus the 4 additional times. So that'll kick up 30 mastery procs. And then like I said before, that can double up to 60 if we're lucky. All it's going to look like is we're just pressing Tiger Palm twice and then blackout kick and then enveloping mist. And then Tiger Palm twice, blackout kick, enveloping mist. You won't get as many enveloping mists out, which is why I say this does not extend the ramp of Chiji beyond that 12 seconds. However, while Chiji is out, every time that you press blackout kick, you're gonna see those health bars move. You're gonna kick up so many mastery procs. This has become so much more efficient of a rotation, and this is the biggest change coming into 10.2, is that this rotation is just very efficient now. So let's go and do it. So summon our Feline, Tiger Palm twice, summon Chiji, blackout kick, enveloping mist, Tiger Palm, blackout kick, enveloping mist, Tiger Palm, blackout kick, enveloping mist, and then we can capitalize with that rising sun kick and then do whatever we need to do after the fact. But you see there, whenever we press blackout kick, whenever we cash in all those teachings of the monastery procs, we're going to get so much burst healing from the mastery procs that Chiji is putting out. Now let's go and talk about the different raid scenarios. So these I'm going to talk about with a cleave raid fight, but I'm also going to talk about with like a single target raid fight, because that's what most people are going to be fighting on most bosses. However, this build normally performs a lot better in a cleaving fight just because your blackout kicks are cleaving. It's just more efficient on 3 target or 2 target cleaving fights than on single target fights. However, like I said before, this build usually outperforms a little bit in heroic fights in general. So you're gonna see this build a lot more on just any given boss because of its healing profile. The amount of smaller heals that you're putting out just will do a little bit better or do less over healing than the Cloud of Focus build. So you're still gonna see this build a lot in heroic regardless of its performance. So for that case, I think it's very important to talk about the raid build. Now, the build will look different than this, but I basically have all the significant things. It's basically just my Mythic Plus build, except I now took Jade Bond because you will be swapping to Jade Bond for raid. So this is not what the build's going to look like as a whole, but it has all the key components. So on a cleaving fight, your rotation does look very similar. You can adjust your rotation in the same different ways that you could in a Mythic Plus environment. However, there are a couple of key changes. Number one, in a raid environment, the most important button that you could press at any given time is Rising Sun Kick, and that is to extend all of your hots. In a raid environment, you're gonna have your Essence Font on more people because you're gonna be targeting your Feline Stomp better. You're gonna take things like Upwelling. You're just gonna focus more on having that Essence Font spread on everyone. And all of those mastery procs are just going to be that much more important. So the most important thing is to Rising Sun Kick as often as possible. So even during your Chiji window, you want to Rising Sun Kick as often as possible. But we can kind of game that in a way. And then number two, since we're taking Jade Bond, our Chiji's going to be out for 25 seconds. That means that we can kind of split up our Chiji window into little sections. So instead of just doing the same rotation the whole Chiji window, we can do that rotation for a bit. We're going to apply a couple hots out, like a couple of renewing mists, a couple of enveloping mists from Chiji. We're going to have those hots out, and then we can really cash those in by just casting maybe our Vivacious Vivification Vivify every 10 seconds, or just casting a few Vivifies just through a Soothing Mist to really capitalize on all those free hots that we're getting out. Like I said, the only real rotation that I'm going to show you in AoE is going to be very similar to the one that we did in Mythic Plus, except before the blackout kicks, we're going to just put a Rising Sun Kick. That's going to be very important to extend all the hots that we're getting. So we're going to do the same thing still in raid. We still want to stack up our Tiger Palms. So we have our Tiger Palms stacked up. We're going to summon Chiji, and we're going to Rising Sun Kick first, and then Blackout Kick. We get that reset. Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick. We get that reset. Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick. Okay, so I got very lucky, and I got the reset for all those times. I'm still getting the reset, and it's because we're cleaving off so many targets. But what do you do during your Chiji ramp if you don't get that reset? Well, instead of Rising Sun Kicking for that global cooldown in that rotation, you just replace that Rising Sun Kick with a Tiger Palm. So you're gonna Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Enveloping Mist. And that's just as simple as that really optimized rotation will look, to just spread as many Enveloping Mists as you can and still get a good number of mastery procs out and just get a lot of resets on your Rising Sun Kick, so you're extending those hots as much as you can. And now I was doing it the whole 25 seconds for that rotation just to I was hoping that we would not get a Rising Sun Kick reset, but I want to show you guys two things. Our Chiji is already at a 1 minute and 30 second cooldown, and that's just because of the number of mastery procs that we kicked up while Chiji was out interact with Jade Bond. So we just got free cooldown reduction, and that's why it's really good in a raid environment, because yes, it's not on a 1 minute cooldown, but it can get up to like a 1 minute and 30 second cooldown like you saw here, while lasting longer, while lasting a double duration. That's why it's much better in a raid environment. So we're going to Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, Enveloping Mist. And then Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, Enveloping Mist. And then we're going to really capitalize on those Enveloping Mists by doing some form of Vivify, either just being a Soothing Mist Vivify spam, really cleaving healing during our Chiji, while Chiji's Enveloping Breath is still on people, while all those Enveloping Mists are still on people, boosting their healing received. And then after we do a couple Vivifies, we just get right back into that rotation, still trying to do the same thing, apply as many Enveloping Mists, as many Enveloping Breaths as we can while Chiji's out. So since Chiji's coming off cooldown, I'll show you guys once again, and this time instead of just trying to fish for resets or fish for, I guess, not resets, let me actually show you what that's going to look like. So we stack up, and then we summon Chiji. Summon Chiji, Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick. And then after a couple times, we're going to... Now I'm going to start spamming some Vivifies, and then we can get back to it and start reapplying those hots, reapplying those Enveloping Breaths, and then really trying to capitalize, since we're about to run out of time, get one more Rising Sun Kick off, or no. So then we just really extend that ramp, and although we're not doing a perfect Chiji rotation, like we're not kicking up as many mastery procs as we can, or really trying to get as many Enveloping Mists as we can as possible while Chiji's out, what we're doing is doing what Chiji does and then capitalizing on that with the rest of our kit, with our Vivify Cleaves and just how strong Vivify's spot heal is. We still want to be pressing this button as much as we can in raid, even with this Ancient Teachings and Phaline and a Chiji Jade Bond build. We still want to be doing that. And then let's go ahead and talk about on a single target boss. Guys, to put it simply, it's just the same rotation as we were just doing. So you're going to Rising Sun Kick as much as you can as soon as it comes off cooldown, and then Blackout Kick once that's off cooldown, and then use the same number. But it will be important, if we're on a single target, our Blackout Kicks are not cleaving. So if we don't have any Tiger Palm stacks, then if we summon Chiji right now and I Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, that's only 2 stacks of our Chiji. Like I said earlier in this video, that is completely fine, totally efficient to press an Enveloping Mist. You'll still have to cast it, but it'll be very quick to cast. So if I Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, I'll cast a very quick Enveloping Mist. And then if I don't get that reset, like I said before, we'll replace that Rising Sun Kick with the Tiger Palm, and then just do the rotation that way. It's very simple. It's the same as our cleaving AoE raid healing rotation. We're just getting a lot less value from the number of targets we're hitting. We just aren't getting as many mastery procs from it. and we're also not getting as many Rising Sun Kick resets as we are from our cleaving rotation. So there you have it. Those are all the different rotations that are very important to know and understand if you want to master Chiji. If you still have questions, make sure and ask them down below, or a better place to get a rapid response from me and all my friends is in my Discord. That link will be down in the description below. So make sure and join up if you're learning Mistweaver and still have questions. We're always willing to help. Trust me, always willing to help. Hopefully now, after watching this video, you see why people prioritize mastery more when they play like a Chiji build than if they weren't playing a Chiji build. You just get more value out of your mastery through Chiji than you do through any of these other spells. So it's just it's a better stat with a build like this and when you're doing Mythic Plus, but you still don't want to just like max out on mastery even if you're playing a build like this, because you want things like haste so you can fit more global cooldowns during your Chiji ramps. You'll still want something like crit so you can get more value out of your mana tea, get more stacks of your mana tea. But hopefully this video accomplished everything that I was hoping it would, and it pushes you to that next level of Mistweaver, because this is, you guys probably know from just watching this video, this is a very complicated ability. It has a lot of different intricacies or changes in the rotation that you can press, and I hope that I helped you understand why or when you would use each of those different variations. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. A special shout out to my Patreons. These are the guys that are carrying this channel, carrying my dreams of being a YouTuber. So thank you so much if you see your name on the screen. If you want to see your name alongside these guys, make sure and check out the Patreon link down in the description below. But until then, guys, welcome to all the new Mistweavers. Plenty of new guides and content coming your way for 10.2. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss any of it. Make sure that you like this video if you liked it, if you learned something, or if you want to see more of it, and comment down below what you guys need help with, what you guys want to see next. My name's LBNinja7. I thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care.